12 knockouts, 3 submissions, 1 decision. Is Gene Silva any good? Gene Silva is unlike anything we've ever seen inside that UFC cage. He's a wild card. So far, nobody has been able to really solve his game. Every time he steps into the cage, it's violent, unpredictable, and undeniably entertaining. It's going to be a real treat breaking down his style, mainly because he doesn't have just one style. Every fight he comes out looking different, sometimes his hands are low and he's evasive, displaying some old school karate influence. Others he tucks together and becomes a little tank and just throws haymakers the whole fight. Oh, and wheel kicks. Yeah, he's got wheel kicks too. The fighting nerds are such a unique martial arts school, looking at fighting through an analytical problem-solving lens and training their fighters to go into each fight with a different style so their opponent can't get a read on them. It's actually insane what they're doing. Just when we think we've got a read on Gene Silva, he switches things up on us. And I can only imagine his opponents feel the exact same way. Like, how the hell do you game plan for this guy? And he's taken short notice fights before and made the weight, not without issue, but he's still lethal and intelligent even without a training camp. And yeah, this could be a red flag. He doesn't make 145 very easily, so this could become a problem moving forward. But the fan base loves him, I love him, and the company loves him, so expect a top 5 matchup for him in the not so distant future, and maybe even a quick title shot. Did I mention he's also got a few screws loose? Yeah, Gene makes phenomenal television, whether he means to or not. He also has a heartbreaking backstory about his mother that I won't get into fully. You can find it on the internet, but let me just say, this guy has a lot he's fighting for, and win or lose, he's building a legacy here. Gene Silva, a pure finisher who creates chaos inside and outside the cage. Strike accuracy, 52%. Strikes landed per minute, 4.8. Strikes absorbed per minute, 4.1. Takedown average is 0.6. Submission average, 0.9. Gene is a sneaky little sub-threat as well, as Bryce Mitchell found out last week, and Brazilians love their front chokes. Think twice before taking a Brazilian down. Takedown accuracy, 50%. Strike defense, 57%. Takedown defense, 86%. These defensive stats of Gene are really impressive. His opponents have failed to land effectively on him or score any meaningful control time. Knockdown average, 1.5. This is just as impressive. Gene packs real power. Average fight time is 8 minutes, 22 seconds. Short and sweet. And this is how Gene Silva is most likely to win a fight. By not giving a fuck what you have for him and overwhelming you. Simply put, Gene Silva is all about making you as uncomfortable as possible. He's a shorter guy, but packs an insane amount of punch power paired with fast twitch muscle. He's trying to make his opponent expose themselves by any means necessary. This could be by taunting them, like what he did with Drew Dober and Bryce Mitchell, or by playing patty cake with Bagdasarian, then just slumping him out cold out of nowhere. Strengths, heavy hands, adaptive, and overwhelming. Weaknesses, emotional, treats it like a game. Gene Silva wins by reading his opponent's game, then begins a violent tempo that not many can keep up with. You can try and hurt him, but he'll slip it and fire back harder. You can try and take him down, but he'll make you waste your energy. And what I like the most is that he's trying to get into his opponent's head from the opening bell, either by congratulating them when they land on him, barking at the cornermen, or trying to get the crowd involved. He's stacking the deck in his favor in every moment, and that's what I love about him the most. So how will Gene lose? Probably the path of least resistance is to wet blanket him. It's going to take a fighter with a whole lot of fight IQ, better wrestling than Bryce Mitchell, and an X factor that he needs to watch out for. Kevin Vallejos did really well. Gene took his undefeated record on the Contender Series, but this was his most competitive bout. Maybe Yair will just have to invent a new move out of thin air, or Evloev will have to drag him down into the mud. I honestly don't have a clue. What we've seen so far is championship-level fighting instincts paired with a dynamic approach to pro fighting. Best performance is Drew Dober. Look, I know Dober is a bit of a journeyman, but hear me out. Considering this was up a weight class and on short notice, I rate this win very highly. Dober is nearly impossible to finish with strikes, and we know this. The sample size is huge, alright? And Gene got it done with spinning elbow counters. I mean, come on. Dober was able to pressure forward because his head is a damn fire hydrant, but it didn't even matter. Gene had an answer for the pressure. He ripped apart Dober so badly, we've never seen him that mangled before. Gene took one of the toughest guys up a weight division and finished him with accumulative damage. Insanely impressive performance. Most fun, his slap fest with Melsic Bagdasarian. Gene faced a deadly kickboxer here in Melsic and was able to get him off his game and capitalize. The The fight was a fairly even back and forth until Gene started having fun and playing up the crowd, which drew a smile on Melsick, so you know he got inside his head and he's occupying some space. Then finds his opening and knocks Melsick out. This is exactly what I mean with the mind games. Gene likes to cause chaos, confusion, and trickery where he sees fit, and this is a great example of it leading to his victory. Your mind should be a steel trap in fighting, and there are some fighters who really excel at not just attacking the body, but attacking the mind as well. Let's get into notable wins. I wasn't sure anyone could beat Bryce more decisively than Ilya and Josh Emmett, but Gene Silva is right up there with them. Stuffs all of Bryce's 14 takedown attempts, roughs him up, wheel kicks him, then puts him out cold with a front choke. Lord genuinely made Bryce look like a 15-year-old kid in this fight. It was so brutal. He made him look easier than Ilya Topuria did, and that needs to count for something, right? Now, Charles Jourdain, his knockout over Charles Jourdain, who's been in there with a ton of good featherweights, Doo Ho Choi, Shane Burgos, but Gene Silva just rolls up and gives him his first KO loss like it's nothing. One punch KO, uppercut, done. It should be mentioned he did miss weight for this fight. He came in heavy, so that definitely is a red flag moving forward, but still. Jourdain is all Canada has, okay, Gene? And you had to go out and do my boy like that. I don't give a fuck about Mike Malott. I watched him get uncled by Neil Magny and go to a draw with a Bellator fighter. Jourdain is funny as hell and good at picking fights. Check out Jourdain's Instagram. Anyway, Kevin Vallejos is such a beast, man. This dude is coming up on 20 pro fights and is 23 years old. Him and Gene had a competitive scrap on the Contender Series, and it was a thing of beauty. You can tell both of these guys are going places, and they're definitely part of the next generation of the UFC, and I can't wait to see how Vallejos levels up moving forward. Now, Gene doesn't have any UFC losses, but he does have 2 decision losses on the regional scene. So maybe that's the best way to beat him. Just evade his nightmare of a style and win via points or a robbery scorecard. I think Yair and Evloev are the front runners to giving him some problems, in all honesty. But now we run into the problem of actually finding people to fight him. Let the ducking begin in the featherweight division. I'm calling it right now. My verdict of Gene Silva is that he is an exceptional talent and draws a lot of excitement and attention to the UFC, which we need to show respect for. He doesn't wait for the soy boy media to ask him pointless questions. He builds up his own hype, creates a show for us, and lets his true character be shown on the world stage. More fighters should be like Gene Silva, and I'm not saying they need to go to this level of uncaged autism, but take us back to 2016 when everyone was trash-talking each other and getting us to care again. Making press conferences just as entertaining as the fight themselves with heated back and forths and just crazy moments. This is a big part of the sport that's died over the past few years, and it's fighters like Gene Silva that are bringing it back to what it used to be. Gene Silva is S tier. He could lose his next 3 fights and I'll still call him S tier. His next fight will be another big step up. It should be maybe a Lopez, an Evloev, maybe even an Arnold Allen. So let's see if he can get past them as easily as he did with Bryce Mitchell, because now things get tough. We're not fighting Drew Dober and Melsick, these unranked guys. Now we're fighting real ranked contenders, so let's see what Gene can do. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure you leave a comment. Comment your favorite Lord moment down below. There's a lot to choose from with Gene, so I want to see your comment. Thanks, guys. MMA makes no fucking sense, but I'm out here trying to put it all together. Until next time.